them black. Give me diamond watch, give me platinum plaque. I'm a goon or something, I make do with that. Ain't here to small talk, don't need the chat. Know that I was made in the lab. The scientist screaming, oh my God. Give him swagger, Uptown Beach bar. Let him hit the streets, let them die. What it mean to be great when you at halftime? When you're 20 years old, never had a touchdown. When you lose a control, all your brother's been gone. You're confused, you alone, never earned you a dime.
I got the goal, I think I'm gonna win. Race in the morning, yeah.
Welcome to a special mid-morning edition of the JustSayN podcast, broadcasting live from the Dallas-Fort Worth area through Gateway 882 Media Company. We're your hosts, Ferman and Lo, will bring you powerful conversation, impactful stories. Today, we're honored to be joined by a demanding visionary, entrepreneur, media trailblazer, Rachel, the founder of What's Up Dallas magazine and podcast. Through her platform, she shines a spotlight on entrepreneurs, creatives, and leaders who are making a real impact across the DFW metroplex. Get ready to go behind the scenes of her journey, her purpose, and how she built a brand that's elevating voices all across Dallas. Let's get into it. This is the JustSayN podcast. Once again, what's up, everyone? Thank you, everybody, for rocking with us continually every week, and we bring out live content here on the JustSayN podcast, brought to you by Gateway 882 Media Company, by the way. And we're very honored, very privileged once again to be on here. And also my teammate Lo, what's up with you? How you been? It's
What's
awesome.
up? What's up, Ferman? As always, blessed to be here. I'll never forget. Someone told me as long as I'm walking on top of the ground and the ground is not walking on me, I'm blessed. And I've always carried that quote with me. So as long as I'm alive, I'm good. So everything is hopeful. But I'm going to piggyback off of Ferman. Thank you so much, Rachel, for coming to the show. Your presence is a blessing. So that is, thank you. Thank you. It's Laresa, everybody. Laresa, AKA Lo. You know, I'm an 80s baby, so I'm going to add that AKA flair, that AKA retro. Yes. So, but thank you once again.
And we do.
My
And
pleasure.
we really do. And we really do. And we thank you once again, Rachel, for taking time of your busy schedule to come on here. I've been knowing you for quite a few years now. I've seen how much you're involved in your business, from the magazine to the podcast, and how you really showcase a lot of individuals on your platform. Every week, you're always constantly involving with the times. And I have to give you your flowers, Queen, for the work that you're doing. Not just you're not making it about you, but you make it about other people who come on your platform. You always showcasing them. It's just like, look, I always had that servant heart and always pouring into others. But we want to pour back into you. So today is all about you, because the title of the episode is the voice behind Dallas culture and media. So I'm a gentleman, and I know Lo got some questions for you. So I'm going to ride shotgun. I'm going to take the passenger seat. So
No, right.
Lo, kick it off with the first question, and I'm just gonna piggyback off you.
Okay. Rock, paper, scissors. All right. So look here. Look, he threw me off a little bit, you know. Okay, so this is what I wanted to ask you. This is something that Ferman and I have talked about. So it is about being just natural. I feel like just being intimate about questions is super important. It really connects to the audience. So the first question: what was the spark that inspired you to start the magazine or the podcast? So what was it? What was it that sparked you?
Oh, that's a good question. Okay, so my vision actually came from watching media channels, you know, like the news channels. They're always reporting a lot of negativity, a lot of, news that really makes you sad. So I got this idea that I really wanted to provide a media company that would put more spotlight on positive stories and positive people in DFW. Me being here for 43 years in Dallas, I know that Dallas has a lot of good things to offer. It really does a lot for the community. Like, there's a lot of people out there doing stuff that really is making a difference, and they haven't had their story heard yet. So I wanted to start a media company that would focus on just that. Like, I know people need their accolades. They need their recognition. They need to be heard. You know, you have the little guys doing all the work. And with big media companies, they really focus on who's going to pay them the most to be on their show, which is kind of one of the things. They're not really focused on the positive message that out there. They're more focused on the, who's going to keep their media company running. So I just wanted to be different. I wanted to focus on that, and I prayed about it. I asked God to, give me a vision, something that would make an impact, something that would be different from everything else. And he just kept saying, "What's up, Dallas?" So I was like, "What's up, Dallas?" I was like, "That's kind of catchy. Okay, I can do that." There are a couple of "What's up, Dallas" out there, but mine is the only one with the exclamation mark, which means I have something positive to say. And it did start as a magazine at first. I did the magazine for 2 years, the actual print magazine. I had articles. I was in the office a lot. And it just changed into a podcast not too long ago. So I still do the articles, but I do them more for the Facebook page now instead of print. The podcast is really what's blowing up out there because people are more comfortable talking about it instead of writing it down.
Right. And is that because things have changed? Because a lot of stuff have gone from print to digital because of technology. Is that's the main reason why behind that? Do you think?
I think there was more interest in people doing the podcast more than they were about getting an article in a magazine. So it's good to have something tangible that you can read, something that you can be like, look, I've been, featured in a magazine, right? But when you have that podcast, it's actually more available. It goes out to more people. Like us talking right now, you have your platform, my platform. We have Facebook, we have StreamYard, we have, it could be on Spotify, all that kind of stuff. A podcast will reach more people than a tangible magazine article will.
Absolutely. So those are some of the that's one of the challenges that you. Well, is it fair to say that's one of the challenges that you had to face trying to reach those audience initially, going from moving towards the podcast platform and making that decision?
Oh, yeah. There was a lot of people just like, why aren't you doing the magazine? Like, I really wanted a magazine article. I have more reach and I have more interest in doing the podcast because people seem to gravitate more that direction.
Okay. And what are some of the other challenges that you had to face?
Oh, gosh. One of the challenges I had to face in the beginning was finding the right people to be on my show. Whenever you have something that's positive, you want to make sure that whatever you put out there to the community is going to make the right impact out there. Because there are young kids, there's young teenagers, there's young authors, there's young athletes that actually watch my show who are looking up to people in the community and they'd be like, oh, wow, they're doing something positive. But if I have a guest who's on my show and they have, I want to say, discredited content,
right,
not positive, like they're flipping the middle finger or whatever on their social media or something. I don't want to promote that type of behavior because to me that's not really sending the right message to these kids. And I do know that a lot of people are watching my channel, so I find the biggest challenge is having the right guest on my show.
Yeah, absolutely. You have to stand by what you're putting out there for sure. Sure. Your character is a look. If you do not have a character behind what you say, and I feel like when a person put their word out there, that is so important. So I'm very happy to hear that from you to say that, because a lot of people can just say anything. People's minds and what they feel about things are very fickle. They can change at a heartbeat, especially when it comes to social media. I've seen a lot of social media content creators go from one type of content and they switch to a different type of content just for the viewership. And, especially when it's something that is positive, it's so easy to head towards the negative because a lot of people will gravitate towards that. And
Mhm.
so, yeah, no, I got to commend you for that. How has this journey changed you as a leader?
It's really made me understand that people really need more stuff like this. I've been doing this for, let's see, going on 3 years. So September will be 3 years for me, actually staying consistent, staying right on focus, not wavering, just staying identical to what I'm supposed to be doing. And how it's changed me is understanding that even if I take a little break, because sometimes God calls us to take a break,
Yeah.
to mentally assess. People are still hungry for that positivity. They're still hungry for that message. They're hungry for something that's actually going to change somebody else's life. So for me, every story, every guest, every testimony, every journey, every nonprofit out there that I talk to has something to say to the community. And I've been getting a lot of people thanking me for not wavering.
Mm.
So I know that my journey and my purpose is to continue to provide that positive environment for them. So for me, it made me stay focused for sure.
Man, that's
Wonderful.
what's up. That is. That's what's up. I respect that a lot. And this is our first segment. We got different segments we're gonna go through. And this segment right here is your story, Rachel. So it's like I said, it's about you. And like I said, me and Lo do welcome you on our platform with Gateway 882 Media Company. And my first question for you is, who is Rachel beyond the title and the brand?
Oof. Oh gosh.
Ooh.
There's so many layers. There's so many layers to Rachel. I would say Rachel is first and foremost a child of God. Um,
Mhm.
I can't say that I'm perfect, but God thinks I'm perfect, so I'm just gonna stick with what He says about me. I am a wife. I am a mother. I'm a grandmother. Multi-business owner. Have a two-time podcaster, so I have two different podcasts. I am a VP for an organization, a women's organization that helps other people. I would say I'm a mentor for young women. I'm a domestic violence survivor. I am trauma survivor. I am also helping people through trauma recovery, not as a therapist, but I do it as I teach them what I'm learning through my journey, and it's really helping a lot of people to understand trauma recovery is possible.
Mm.
Mhm.
Mm.
Many layers.
Yeah, I hear that. I mean, many layers, of course. And like I said, I know you for a minute amount of that time. We connected on Facebook recently. I had you on the other platform, and you had me on yours, and you really had me a little on yours. And I just see and I admire, and I see how much you involve within within that short window frame per se. How you started from home to office studio, and I see how much you stay consistent. What advice would you give someone on staying consistent when it comes to your purpose and your destiny, of course? And I know Lo mentioned our word. Words have meaning, and you have to mean what you say. And I agree with you 1,000%. So, what advice you give someone when it comes to staying consistent, when it comes to building your business, building your brand, just on your purpose, period?
hmm I would say my advice for anyone who I'm gonna go on different sides of this part. My first advice for building your business is if you have a vision and you have that focus, people are going to try to keep you off track. They're going to try to convince you to do something that's going to be way out of line of what your vision is actually supposed to be.
Yeah.
So you, as a business owner, need to stay honest to yourself about your vision. You know, be like, there will be people that will talk, they'll tickle your ear, make sure it sounds good, and they'll try to get you to compromise your morals to make more money. But what the thing is about being a business owner, especially with this type of business, is that you shouldn't compromise your morals to make the coin. You be chasing the bag. What your purpose is, what God has for you is for you. Your business is for you. You're meant to do something with your business that nobody else can do, and you need to stay true to yourself. That would be my first thing. My second thing is that when God gives you a purpose in life, you need to really be chasing that purpose. Your story, your journey, somebody else is watching it. And they want to know that you can still win through all the stuff that you've gone through. So personally, if you're talking about someone just chasing their purpose, understand that your purpose is your testimony, and you can use it to help one person or 30 people or even 100. You don't have to go big to make a difference in this world. Those are my two different sides of that part.
Absolutely, beautifully said. I completely agree. I think that just changing just one person, like that's beautiful within itself, because it is hard to change the mentality of people, especially when they are grounded with however they feel about a certain situation. And people want to be inspired. And this is just going back to what you said. People want to be inspired by stories that are um, close in their realm of what they are going through. I think that is the reason why, you know, that is the reason of fellowship at church sometimes, and how a lot of people can feel the compassion and things that the pastor, minister, or, whoever is up there speaking at the moment, when they can relate to the things that is going through, especially with the spoken word of the Bible and things of that nature. So, yeah, no, I absolutely agree with that. That is, yeah, no, that is true. 100% true. And that is why people, no matter what the age is, and they're, and I don't differentiate between, younger or older. We are still learning at every age, at every stage of our lives, because we literally will go through different things through every stage of our lives. What we did at 20 is not going to be the same challenges what we face in our 40s or our 70s, and we will face those different things. So hearing people's stories and the things of how they've gotten through those challenges really makes a difference. So yeah, and no one's perfect. So that definitely helps. So sending that message out there, Rachel, getting the right people, you're on the right track. We got to give you your flowers, because a lot of people staying consistent, that is so important. And you said it, you hit it right there. A lot of people will stop, especially when they don't feel like the coin is coming in. They want to change that back. They want that fast money. So, and like I always tell my kids, the money will come. The money will always come if you are consistent. It will always show up no matter what. As long as you stay on the right path and do things that are right, because people will do things that are, you know,
Yeah,
questionable to make
that's
money.
true. That's
Yeah.
true.
Yes, for sure. So, what was your next question, Ferman?
The next one was gonna be. I know we're doing this one on this one. I got tongue tied. I lost track. I lost track. But we're gonna get. I know you mentioned DFW. I know you mentioned Dallas. I know you mentioned how much the culture and history is here in Dallas. But why, when you created What's Up Dallas, why when did you knew that it was the perfect time to start showcasing the city and the surrounding areas in the DFW?
Ooh, that's a good question. I didn't think that I knew when the perfect timing was, but I know that when God says something and He gives you the vision, He gives you the tools, you're supposed to do it, and you're supposed to be obedient. Um, so whenever I had the time, whenever I had the vision, I had the name, I just jumped into it, honestly, with no hesitation. I told my husband, I said, I know I'm supposed to be doing this. So I'm gonna be obedient, and I'm going to do what God has me doing. And I just literally jumped in. I got the magazine, I got the LLC to go with it. I got all the trademarks, the logos, that website. I had everything built within like 36 hours.
Mm.
And then that's when I started the Facebook page. And when I started doing the Facebook page, I started asking and seeking people to come in. And I think within like a month or 2 months after that, they're like, this is the best time for you to be doing this type of media. We've been seeing so much bad in Dallas. We started seeing so much stuff being reported. It just makes us sad. But seeing this type of content, right now, which was a confirmation that what I was doing was really needed. And it was just in time. They were just like, I'm so thankful for this. I'm so thankful to see something positive. So I couldn't really say I found the right time, but I know when God says something, you have to do it. You got to be obedient. And I was like, I'm not going to waste no time. If God's in it, I'm going to go with it. So
right. No, you're absolutely correct. I heard you mention your husband. Tell us about the support and how that happened, because I'm assuming it, even though you it doesn't take long, I know, to get stuff together when you are really passionate and driven about it. Like, you can handle it just like that. But support is so important, especially when it's coming from your spouse, or if you have a teammate and being on the same page. What was the situation going forward with your family? If and I don't want to pry too much, but what was that like? How did that look like?
Oh, okay. That's a good question. And I mean, just plain and simple, my husband is my backbone.
Ooh, I love it.
We're literally each other's backbone. So my husband, not too long before that, started his own business, and I was 100% supportive on him starting that business. I was like, if this is what you want to do, I'm going to support you. I'm going to, be there all the way. And I know it takes a lot of sacrifice, even in a marriage, to build a business, but I know I can either be that supportive spouse or I can be that grumpy spouse. So I rather be the supportive spouse. And since I was able to do that for him, he already knew what to do for me, because I was like, babe, I prayed about this. I was like, I pray for God to give me something positive. And he was like, well, if God's in it, of course, go for it. And he goes, I'm going to support you. I'm going to be there. I'm going to help spread the news. Like, I'm going to share it on my social media. He may not watch every episode, but whenever I have a podcast host that's really really hit the spot for me that day, letting me know that what I'm doing matters, I tell him about it. And he's like, what you are doing it really does matter. Like, I'm so glad that's something that makes you brighten up. It makes you, fulfill the purpose. Like, I know you're doing what God has called you to do. So I support you. So that's the simple answer for it.
Kudos to the hubby. I gotta give you that. Yeah. Kudos, man. That is very important, because if you don't have that support, like, it really can dampen what you are trying to do. So I got it. Like, by the grace of God, you have been blessed. So, look, we're gonna leave it at that. So I had to throw it in there because it's important to know, in business, you don't always have a supportive partner or spouse. You have people plotting, like you said earlier, people in your ear, saying things. They might know what you are doing, but they don't have your best interest at heart. Yeah. So, and that can be discouraging for anybody. We are only human. So yes, I got to give the family. All right, Ferman, go ahead. Ask the next question.
Yeah, man, most definitely. Because I did interview her husband on the other platform some years prior, and I totally respect your husband. I know he's an entrepreneur in his own right as well, but both y'all are, and I love how y'all work together as a unit, as a team, iron sharpen iron. And how do y'all keep that balance with marriage, family? I know y'all are grandparents as well, so I know you have the grandparent stage. So how do y'all balance that out with marriage, y'all children, grandchildren? How do y'all balance all that out?
The simple answer for that, and probably the most important, is 100% communication. I know that he has his business, I have my business. And whenever I have a podcast, like I'm on this podcast here, I tell him ahead of time, hey, I have a podcast at this time. I'll message you afterwards. Or if he says, I'm going to be walking a job site, I'll call you afterwards. It helps us stay in the loop with each other instead of starting to feel like we're insecure. So we stay supportive with each other through 100% communication. We both come from backgrounds with relationships that were not communicated at all. And that's the downfall of pretty much everything. If you don't communicate, you're going to get animosity. If you don't make your spouse feel like they matter or that you value their time, they're going to feel like they're left out. So we stay 100% connected in communication. Even if like he has to go out of town, he'll tell me ahead of time so I don't, get worried.
Right.
Or if I tell him I have a busy schedule, I'll share with him my schedule of what I'm doing at certain times, because like most marriages, you have to communicate. Actually, all marriages, you have to communicate. You have to be open. You have to be vulnerable. And there are some times whenever I get a little bit of doubt in my thoughts, because I'm an anxious person. I'm recovering from being an anxious person, but I dealt with a lot of trauma. So my husband sees those things, and he actually pulls me aside and says, honey, can you please like explain to me what you're thinking, what your thoughts are? He's just really taking that time to make me feel more secure about things. And as a married couple, having someone like that in my life is unfamiliar to me. Because I came from a background of chasing people, chasing love, chasing chaos, and now it's safe and secure. And I keep telling him our relationship it's safe and secure, but it also is boring, and boring is better, because because trauma therapy will teach you that if you are chasing excitements, you're chasing dopamine. And our relationship, and our relationship is so safe and so secure, and I could actually talk to him about everything. And that is why I'm like, wow, you're like nobody else I've ever met. But that's how our relationship works. That's how our family cycle works. We communicate with our kids too. Our kids are mostly adults. One of them is a senior this year.
Okay, congratulations
Ooh,
on that.
congratulations. Look, you're almost empty nesters, right?
Not really. Three of them live with us still, and two of our grandbabies live with us. So it's not an empty nest. It probably never will be. They rely on us so much for everything, even for that emotional support. So, I just want to kind of throw this in there for anybody who's listening. Us as parents, our kids are watching us. So even our adult children they've even commented on this. They're like, I admire how you and dad talk to each other, because you are showing us that a real secure relationship actually exists. I want that. So it gives them something to strive for, So
Yeah, my son
That's
told
awesome.
me that when he was small. It's something about children. They will humble you and they will give you like surprises, and it could be very small verbal, and it's the very small verbal exchanges that will make you feel full of joy. Yeah, I can't explain it. As a mother, it just naturally happens. I do understand that. Yes, that's wonderful, actually.
even our
Yeah, that is.
grandkids too. Our grandkids are even like approaching us, and they feel very secure with both of us. It's like it's their safe place. So
Yeah.
we want to be that safe place, and our house is a safe place. So that's why the communication has to continue.
Oh,
Man, that's
yes.
awesome. I like that. I
It
like that. That's
is.
awesome. And I know y'all mentioned y'all both came from previous not so good backgrounds, from
Mhm.
past relationships, and then y'all came together. And I know it could be very, very tough and very hard, because I've been through that before myself, and I know how it is. But the whole recovery and trusting God in the process, how was it for both y'all to be able to trust God and be able to trust to love again? Because I know that could be very, very bitter. Because I know I've been through that before, where you feel paranoid, like, does this person really care about me? Are they taking advantage of me? Or and then at the same time, you can't be in fear. You have to trust God. You still can't. You got to trust
Mm-hmm.
the person that's before you. In my opinion, you can't compare what happened in the past to what's going on current. So
Right.
what did y'all do? Did y'all just put everything on the table? Like, hey, this is what I went through. This is what you've been through. Okay, that's our path. This is something new. Did y'all do anything like that?
Well, kinda. There's multiple layers. So my husband wasn't really fully aware of my trauma until literally last year.
Mm,
Because I held a lot of stuff in because I was still living in survival mode.
mm,
So when I met him, I had not just divorced my second husband, but I left that very abusive
mm,
relationship. So I was trying to find myself again. And when I met my husband, I was at the point where I was like, God, I just give up. I don't want to search for nobody.
Tell you.
I'm tired of this. People just, you know, leaving and all that kind of
mm.
stuff. And I just want to focus on me. Like,
Yeah.
it's like, God, I just want to focus on me. So I think for 3 months I was in that I'm going to focus on healing me moment. And a pastor at my church told me, if you're looking for a man of God, you need to be specific about your prayers. These certain things you're going to look for. So this is the funny part. So I wrote a list of all the things that I was looking for in my future husband. And one of the things at the top of my list was, I want him to go to church with me. Nobody else has ever gone to church with me. So I want him to love you, love me, and love the kids. I want somebody that's going to love you first, God first. Um, I want somebody that's going to accept me. I want somebody that's not going to be tempted to drink or do drugs or going out to party. I don't want somebody that's going to be tempted to, socialize with other women, all that kind of stuff. Like, I was very specific with my list. And I said, God, if you send me this person, I'm not going to question it. I'm not going to question it at all. So my husband, before I met him, he was already out of recovery from alcoholism and drugs,
Mm,
and the partying scene for 4 years. We actually met at the gym, and I was like, wow, like, he's really handsome. But I was still like, God, no, I don't want to do this again. But he became my gym partner first. And the biggest turning point for me was, I invited him to church. It was like a Wednesday night lunch or dinner service and stuff. And I was like, hey, I'm going to go to church this Wednesday. Do you want to come with me? I was like, I feel like you might enjoy it or something. And he said, sure, I want to go. Let's go. And I was like, you do? Like, you want to go? Like, that's weird. Nobody ever wants to go with me. So I was like, okay, well, maybe he might be a little different. So we were dating for, I think, 6 weeks before we decided to just lay it on the table. I told him that I didn't want just a regular relationship. I said, I'm not girlfriend material, wifey material. If we're going to be in a relationship, it's either us or nothing. Um, I'm going to tell you, I don't want to be second guessed. I don't want to be put anywhere behind. I was like, I need my man. I need my man to just literally be 100% there. So he was just like, okay. And I was like, okay, what? And he goes, I accept it. And I was like, okay, are you serious? Like, I still didn't know. Like, I was still doubting it in the beginning, but I was like, okay, God, you got jokes, right? You got jokes.
No, you called on God, ma'am. You called on God and you wrote it down and asked God specifically.
And
Yeah.
I did have that list, and I was like, wow, this is the number one thing that I put on there, that he would go to church with me. He was the only person to ever go to church with me. Still is the only person to go to church with me. So I'm like, and now he loves God so much that his love reflects onto his whole family. Like, even like the people, that guy at the gas station, he's like, Jesus is so amazing. I'm going to talk to them because Jesus took time to talk to me too. So, it's a beautiful story, but that's really how we did it. We laid it on the line. I said, no games.
That's really nice. I love it because it's I think it's really hard for anybody that comes from a situation that is traumatic because relationships that end on a really bad note, and it from abuse to just anything, it can lead people to be very cautious of who they are, who their next partner is, or if they even want to date, or if they want anybody, if they just want to focus on themselves, or it's the trust aspect. When after you are betrayed, it is very hard to trust someone else. So, that is very important to I'm so glad you made that list, girl. Look, you called on your blessing. You called on your blessing, and God responded. Like that is such a blessing right there, because yeah, I don't even know what to say about that, because that is such a really good story. You knew about his past. He was very open about it. You weren't judgmental about it, but it was set. It was set. You said, this is not what I wanted, and God brought it for you. So man, I don't even know what to say. And you guys are just, hey, I love marriages that are successful and relationships that are successful. That is such a great thing, especially when it comes to business, because and that's one thing, and future podcasts to speak on. When couples compete with each other, especially when it comes to businesses and money, I think that's something that people talk about, but it's not really talked about. But we will say that for another day. And to have the support of each other for your businesses, that's rare, to tell you the truth. It's very rare, because the ego aspect within relationships it can break that relationship. So the support, and that's why the question behind the support of family, your spouse, that's where it really came from. So it's beautiful to let people know out there it can exist, it does exist, and it happens. And your platform, your podcast is successful because of that support. He has helped you along the way. So, what can you say about that? It is what it is.
Thank you, God.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. So going back, I do want to go back, because I do believe that, speaking some on your personal life is good, but I don't want to be out, I don't want to put your personal life just out there on social media. But I want to head back to the business side of things. How do, I know you mentioned guests. And making sure you have the right guest on the show. How do you turn a situation around when that guest does not happen to be what you
Receiving it well?
Yeah. Because it happens. It definitely happens. Yes. So how because that's a pressure within this business, I definitely feel like, some podcasts, you see some people and some guests, they will crash out a little bit. So I'm just like, ooh, okay. So how do you handle that type of pressure?
That's a really great question, actually, because I really only had to refuse, two guests. The first one was a misrepresentation email. It was a lady that portrayed that she said this person, this business owner, is a good business owner, a great family man, all this kind of stuff. She thought he would be a great guest on my show, and he's a great father figure, great entrepreneur in the community. And I was like, okay, well, tell me a little bit more about him. So I called him and I talked to him. So she was trying to portray him as a godly man, one of those figures that people would look up to, but he was actually owner of a strip club and a restaurant that attached to both of them. I was like, okay, so I'm not seeing how this is actually like positivity, because to me, I don't think strip clubs are very, youth friendly. And I'm not going to, put that on my YouTube channel. I'm not going to put that on the public that you own a strip club and a restaurant. I was like, there's no positivity in that for me. In trying to put a spotlight on that type of business. So I basically was telling him, your content and your business does not match my YouTube channel and my podcast viewers. So I'm sorry, I'm not going to be able to feature you. Then I was like, first of all, don't portray them as a godly person if that's the type of business they're in. Okay. That's just me standing on my standards. I have standards, and I refuse to put that type of business out there. So the second one was someone who came up from the south side of the city. They were making a name for themselves in fashion and being a business owner, which I have no problem with that kind of stuff. But his content was like, F this, F that, flipping the bird. And, his content didn't match the type of personality he wants to portray on my channel. So I told him, based on what he was presenting to the public, I could not feature him on my channel. And it's like every time he wanted to be on my podcast, like I almost interviewed him, but something said, no,
don't do
stop.
it.
Like the voice, like 3 times in one day, said, no. Like I kept getting that no, that block. And I sent him a message and I told him, I'm sorry, I'm going to have to pass on this podcast out there. He still follows me on social media, still actually. But he sent back a volatile email.
Ooh.
Because of my rejection. He says, you're crazy. I don't understand why you would reject people like that so close to, viewing, filming our stuff. And I said, I will understand that what's for my channel is for my channel. And if something tells me not to interview you, I'm going to listen to it. Because, and then the response after I got with the email confirmed that I should not have any type of business with this person. Yeah. So I was like, whoo, okay, I think I dodged a bullet on that one. So really what it is, like me as a podcaster, I stand on my standards.
Yeah.
I stay true to myself. And if I say it doesn't match, it doesn't match. And if y'all get mad, I'm sorry you get mad. But,
you gotta stick to it. You gotta stick to it, sis. Yes. No matter what, you gotta stick to it. Look, funny story. Okay. Funny story. Okay. So I had a really bad accident. Okay. I'm so sorry. Look, I'm laughing before. So I had a really bad car accident, right? And after that, I suffered from a really bad concussion. And like where I lost memory, it was really bad. And afterwards, when I actually bought another vehicle, and it ended up being an SUV. Now, I don't have small children. All my children are grown adults, okay? I don't know why I bought this SUV. So, oh my God. On my, I was just talking noise. Oh my God. Honey, when I tell you I got a phone call from my father-in-law, he was like, are you okay? I was joking. I was like, huh? And I felt so bad. I was like, he's never heard me curse in my life. And he never will. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna put it on private. I'm gonna take it down. I'm gonna delete it, right? Now, I mean, I felt like, okay, I'm sorry. I mean, like, but I was like, oh my God, he got on my tail, boy. And I was like, yeah. But that was a lot, that was a lesson. You have to be careful. You have to be careful because because he's not on social media. Someone else told him, someone snitched on me. And I was like, oh my God. I was like, yeah, no, lesson learned. Don't put this on there. And it wasn't even like a bad, I don't even know what I said. It was like a bad word, but it wasn't even bad. But because he wasn't having that. He was like, no, I don't know who you think you are. But I was like, okay, I'm taking it down right now. I said, I'm sorry. I was so embarrassed. And I was like, oh yeah, no, he was right. So hearing you say that, that is absolutely right. And we would like, and this goes back to earlier, what I said earlier, doesn't matter. Like, I'll be 46 my birthday. So, I'm just like, I'm still learning lessons. I still got reprimanded by my father-in-law. And respectfully, I was like, okay, I'm so sorry. And I left it alone. And then I was like, we're gonna delete that. And I'm not gonna do it again. So I was like, oh no. I was scratching my head. I was like, dang, what did I say on that? So I was like, I looked at the video and I was like, I think I only said like the S word. And I was like, because he's never ever heard me curse. Never. And he never will. And I was like, Jesus Christ. He's a Jehovah's Witness and very strict. So I was so embarrassed. But yeah, no, what you put out there is on the internet forever. So yeah, you got to be very careful because that's what I wanted him to think of me. And even if the world condemned me, I look at this man like a father. So I did not want to disappoint him. And so I felt so bad. I actually felt really bad about it. But my rebellious side was like, what? I can say whatever I want to. But my respectful side had to remind me, like, who are you? Did you forget that this is your elder? And you got to show some filial, you got to show some, filial propriety here. What's wrong with you? Like, get it together, Los. I was like, oh my God, yeah, you're right. I'm so sorry. I was like, and it was a whole video. And I was like, I didn't even know what video he was talking about. But this goes back to whatever you put out there will stay on there forever. It's never going to go away. It's going to find its way. And I was like, Jesus Christ. I felt so embarrassed. So I had to rethink. I really stayed conscious about, I've been staying conscious about what I post. I don't even post stuff unless it's my grandson. I'm just like, lesson learned. So yeah. Plus, I got my boy Ferman here to keep me on my toes, be a good girl. Look. But it does not hinder us from trying to do things in the community that is positive, just like you, Rachel. And we want to put out there good stuff, positive stuff that highlight the things that are that benefit our community, business owners, because without those people that provide for us, doctors, healthcare workers, nonprofits, like without people like that, like we cannot move forward. And without podcasting like this here, just like getting that word out there and spreading that, like that is what we have to do. And I feel like it's really important. I do want to shout out to a listener that has been with us since day one. That is ZLYC. She has been supportive since day one. So, and I'm so, I know I am kind of deviating from that, but I want to shout out to our supporters, because without our supporters, like, we have nothing, especially with the ones who are young. And this is a young lady that that I met through a gaming community. So I felt so, I was like, this is great. So like to reach this young lady, and she's 21, I believe. She's 21. So, and she has consistently stuck with us. So I just like, I love it, I love it. So you don't get that. You don't get that loyalty from young viewers a lot of the time. So she likes our content a lot. She likes our content a lot. And so I want to say, hi, Zay. Thank you for following. And so, so okay, go ahead.
Man.
Look, I'm getting sentimental over our followers. That is.
Man, that's what's up right there. Like I said, we do appreciate Zay for continuing on rocking with us and supporting us on a consistent basis. So kudos to her on that. But we just talking about building the brand with Rachel, of course. We talking about what's behind Dallas culture and media. So my question is to you, Rachel, what separates your magazine from others in the DFW area?
What separates mine? I'm a small business. A lot of magazines out there, they're large on advertising. They're large on who's going to pay for the next magazine spread. I don't know if y'all are familiar with magazine advertisements, but those one-page advertisements that they have usually run about $1,500 a business per page. So my magazine, I don't do advertising unless somebody wants to, but I do it more because the community needs to see it. They need to read it. I'm not chasing the bag. I do not do it at all for the money. I do everything with my magazine for the purpose, because people need to be heard. People need to have good news in front of them. And I'm like, here at our office building, for the longest time, I had my magazines out where people could just flip through them during the lunch break. Like every time there was a new magazine print, I would print it out and I would have one here at the office building where I'm at. And then I would give a free copy, a complimentary copy to everybody that was in my features. So most magazine companies will not do that. They'll make you pay for the advertisement. They'll give you a free copy with your advertisement in it, but you have to pay $1,500 for it. Or you have to pay to be featured, or you have to pay to put your story in there, or you have to pay for something in order to be seen. And that's where I differ. I could run it as a business like that, but every time I think about running a business like that, God stops me. The voice of the Holy Spirit stops me, says no. Like he's reminding me not to forget my purpose, which is to spread light on people who need to be heard instead of making a fortune out of it. I could make a fortune out of it, but I don't want to, because that would be chasing the bag instead of chasing the purpose. So I guess that's how that sets me apart.
Okay.
That's good.
That's good. But I'm glad you talked about that, and then pass on Lolo. Go ahead, and we're just going to follow with that. You want to go and say anything?
Well, I mean, it's really hard to say no to that, especially when it comes to wealth and just especially when you have children and being able to generate generational wealth. People it just reminds me of the I don't know, my friend and I were talking about the story of Moses, and it reminds me after they crossed the sea, and how I don't know, it was just, I don't know, I just had a little moment because we had a long conversation about it, and how the people kept complaining, and what are we going to eat, what are we going to have to drink. And even though it was provided, it still wasn't enough. And people don't realize that long as you have something that is enough, that is substantial, that is keeping you going, sometimes that's all you need. You don't need more, because more money, more problems. And
That's it.
yeah, and I've known a lot of people with a lot of money, and they all have a lot of bad problems, and it comes with the territory. You have jealousy. You have people that tend to think of, I can do this. There hasn't been one person that I've known that has it. And when I say wealth, it's wealth. That is what I'm talking about. they all have drug problems. And I don't know. I see it as a really bad thing. I see it as a coping mechanism for a lot of things that they have gone through.
Mhm.
And that's why I was like, oh, it's a really bad situation. And considering we have worked in detentions, we have seen a lot of stuff. We
Mhm.
have seen a lot of bad stuff
Mhm.
from, you know, and I don't like to be judgmental when people come in because I don't know. I try not to be, well, when I was working there, I don't work there anymore after 20 something years, resigned, but I try not to be judgmental. At first I
Mhm.
wasn't because that was the culture behind the job when I first got there. There was no room for you not to be judgmental. Um, but I'm human. I'm going to, I'm flawed just like everyone else, but you learn. And it was so many things that I had to learn about people and about myself, most importantly, and who I wanted to be.
Mhm.
So, yeah, that is kind of how I look at that. So I I applaud you for staying strong and standing on business because it takes a lot to stand on business, especially when it comes to money,
Mhm.
especially when it comes to making those dollars because people will change, they will change in a heartbeat.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had ideas that I've because I feel like if I'm eating, my friend is eating. Like that's how I
Mhm.
feel. Like I don't want to keep those ideas to myself. I was raised in a matriarchy type of scenario where a lot
Mhm.
of money was we didn't want for anything. And but the downside of that, a lot of my aunts, great aunts, um, had this habit of why would you share that? And I just never understood that. And I was like, why would I not share something good with someone else?
Mhm.
I didn't like it. I didn't like that. And I wanted to break that. So I remember I would share everything with the small circle of friends that I had. And one friend actually took one of the ideas and skyrocket. But all of a sudden, we didn't become like she like kind of like backed away,
Mhm.
and so I was like, "Well, dang, what the heck? Did I do something? Like, what's up with that?" But then I realized, I remember someone telling me, sometimes you have to be silent with your ideas. I was like, well,
Mhm.
I want to be like, but I, so you have to kind of differentiate who is really in your back, in your circle,
Mhm.
who's really in your backing, who, I don't know. It's very hard to do that. That's why I say it doesn't matter at what age you still learning on a daily basis.
Yeah.
So I know with having a business, you have to stand firm. That's the only
Mhm.
thing I do know. You have to stand firm in your beliefs and what you want to do and how you are going to just portray your goals moving forward.
Yeah.
Um, if that's not what you said you're going to do, stick to it.
Mhm.
10 toes down, stick to it. That's what you're supposed to do. Um, because, like I said earlier, people are fickle.
Mhm.
People are
They are
fickle.
very fickle.
Yes, and it's unfortunate. But I love what you are doing with your thing because it is hard getting in the podcast business right now. I feel like it is because a lot of people are doing podcasts.
Mhm.
So to make podcasts stick out, and to allow your podcast to kind of get its following, and that's the question that I am leading into. Um, what is your approach to getting, or is it just staying straight to what you have decided you wanted to do as far as the business behind it? How do you make sure that you are getting those followers? What was your approach to that? Because I think that's important.
That is a great question, actually. I would like to say for the first 2 years of having What's Up Dallas magazine, I did a lot of networking events. I literally showed up as one of the attendees and I just went and I talked to people. I was like, hey, what do you do for a living? Like, not what you do for a living, what you tell me about your business and stuff like that. And be like, hey, I would like to have you as a guest on my podcast. So my first 1,400 followers that I had on my Facebook page for What's Up Dallas were literally people that I met in person. I stayed genuine to what I was doing. I told them, they're like, hey, but you have a magazine. Don't you have a contact, like customer rep or somebody? And I was like, no, it's just me. So you're going to message me. You're going to email me. It's me responding to you. And I think that was one of the things they were like, oh, wow, it's really just you, like you're doing everything. And I said, yeah, I respond to everybody that messages me. I am as genuine as it comes as far as a business owner, because first and foremost, nobody's going to know my business more than I do. So if I don't represent my business in the best way possible, like how are people going to respect me and what I'm doing? I've also went to women's networking events. I went to a couple of schools. I mentored a group of girls. I went to a couple of fashion shows. I featured a lot of nonprofits and I built a partnership with them. So every time they have an event, I try to go out and show some love to them, or I'll share their flyer. I just stay really genuine to doing exactly what I say I'm going to do, which is show support, stay focused. I'm family oriented. You never have to question anything on my channel ever. And if y'all want to donate to me, I'm okay with that. But it's not required for me to be doing the right thing. It takes zero money to do the right thing. It really does.
And speaking of donations and platforms, where can listeners reach out? Like, what is your donation? Tell us more about that. What platforms are available for listeners to look at? Like, are you on Spotify? I know you said you were on Facebook. Are you on TikTok? Like,
I am on pretty much every platform there is. So What's Up Dallas magazine and What's Up Dallas podcast. You can research either one and they'll be on their own respective podcasts. So What's Up Dallas podcast is going to be on YouTube. You can just put it as What's Up Dallas magazine. I kind of keep the social link the same because I like to stay consistent. But on Facebook, I have 2 pages. What's Up Dallas magazine and What's Up Dallas podcast. On TikTok, I am What's Up Dallas podcast. On Instagram, I am What's Up Dallas magazine. Just because TikTok is more of a visual platform, so I stick with the videos more for that one. Instagram, I share the flyers. YouTube is really where I'm at. I'm on Spotify. I'm on Apple Podcasts. I actually partnered up with the Wolf Paw Network, which is in New Mexico, and they feature some of my podcasts on there too for the Indian nation. So that was one of my biggest accomplishments. I'm very thankful that they put me out there. And then just grateful that God has spread my wings to more than just DFW. I have podcasters who show love and support all over TikTok as well. From New York to Georgia, from all the way from like Michigan, Wyoming, it's really getting out there over the course of the past 3 years. But if y'all want to donate, I have a Cash App. What's Up Dallas donate. I do that as a donation link because it costs me zero money to really go anywhere in DFW. But if y'all want to help my gas funds, I'm okay with that. It helps me get to more events. It helps me reach more people. And, that's just how I do that. And thank God he's always provided for me for everything I've done. So I never question, I never beg people for money, but they want to donate to the cause. I'm down for that.
I know that's right, because gas is almost $5 a gallon. Okay, and no, go ahead, y'all. Everybody that is listening out there, know that What's Up Dallas is on all platforms. Like Rachel said, donate. The Cash App is available. I'm pretty sure you can find the Cash App link and your email if they are interested on your Facebook page.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I have
So
a QR code also on my Instagram too. They want to donate there.
okay, good, great. So look, we encourage everybody to go ahead and do that as well. Your support, your support really, by listening to the podcast is the most important, because it's the message. And that is what is so important. It's the message. We cannot forget about the message. So let me ask you a question. I do have another question. I know we have reached that time, but I want to ask this here. Where do you see everything in the next 3 to 5 years? You know, that is like standard question now. So where do you see the company in the next 3 to 5 years?
I can see the company blossoming to having more employees,
That's right.
because there's I know that with the business, you have to have a community of people that do stuff. Like, right now, I do the podcasting, I do the magazines, the articles, the social media outreach, and all that kind of stuff. But I have been praying for God to give me a team of people where I can actually hire people to do certain things, certain tasks, and I can delegate it to where I'm not spending 100% of my time, focusing on the social media part. It takes a lot of time. Let me just put that out there. It takes a lot of time, and I would like to have a team that I can employ that actually wants to make a difference too. So I'm praying for that over the course of the next 5 to 10 years. I don't see me just sitting in a single office, like, just existing by myself here. I would like to have a full floor of people actually working. And I would like to employ people that really, really want to make a difference. So that's where I really want to see myself in about.
And remember, all you broadcasting students at these universities and colleges can also probably reach out as interns, because experience is the best experience. You are a well-known platform, and it makes a difference when you shadow and have the experience to put on your resumes. So that is beneficial to both parties. Okay, so we got to put that out there, because we got to help each other. We have to help each other, network with each other, because it's an advantage for all parties involved. Here we go, because I know it's time. What message do you want to give to the people that are watching?
I really just want to tell people out there that everybody has a purpose. Everybody has something they can be doing to help someone else. So even the smallest little voice, the little 6-year-old in the classroom, still has a voice that can make a difference if they speak up. So my thing that I would like to tell you is that if you have a purpose, like you feel like your story or your journey, your walk could change somebody's life, don't hold back on that. But I would like to tell you that you will know when you're ready to do that, when whatever you went through or whatever you're going through doesn't hurt so much. Because I was talking to my daughter about this. We did Turning Pain into Purpose yesterday on my other podcast. And she's like, how will I know that I'm ready? I was like, well, that's a great question. For all the people out there, you will know when you're ready to walk in your purpose. First of all, God will tell you. He will give you a sign that you're ready. Second of all, when you are speaking from healing instead of hurt, you will know that you're ready. If you know that your story will inspire instead of cripple somebody, you know that you're ready. So, like, just your voice matters. Your purpose matters. What you do as a business matters. Stay true to yourself. Don't waver. Don't compromise. Just keep doing you. That's really what I gotta say.
Yes, yes. And that's a great message. That is a great message. Furman, I know since we're on time, what is your message going out? Headed out.
It pretty much just sums it up right there. So you handled it with kudo beans. I have to say about that. So I don't have anything
I
to
can't
say.
say anything either, actually.
I guess. But we appreciate you. We really do appreciate you, Rachel, and keep doing the amazing work you're doing. I know we're not gonna hold you up. I know you're a very productive woman. I know you got some things you have to do as well. But we do thank you for taking your time to come on here on our platform to showcase what you got going on with the magazine, the podcast, other stuff. I know what was said today is really gonna bless somebody. I do believe that. So we do thank you as one. We do thank you, and we don't take that for granted.
Thank y'all for having me as
Sure.
a guest
Thank
on your show.
you.
It's been a lot of fun.
All right. All right,
Awesome
y'all.
stuff. Awesome stuff. So we will be back today at 5 p.m. So y'all can check us out every Wednesday at 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern on our YouTube channel at the Just Saying Podcast. Brought to you by Gateway 8082 Media Company. We got a special guest coming out of Austin, Texas. His name is Spencer Brooks. He's a recovering meth heroin addict. He was a D1 QB. He turned his life over. He was homeless at one point. Turned his life over. Now he's a content creator. He's reaching millions of people, and he responded to the post that I put out by having guests come on the show. And he responded, "I like his story, hello." And I said, "You know what? We gotta get him on here." And he glad to accept the invite, so he's gonna be on here today. So make sure y'all tune in and listen to this man's story, his how he
Yes.
overcame and how he beat the odds. And this is kind of stuff that we love here on a regular basis, that you can overcome the odds, overcome the obstacles in life. So y'all make sure y'all tune in today and hear this man's truth on today. And like I said, me and Lo looking forward to it. So if y'all on the YouTube channel right now, go ahead and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Right now, we up to 52 subscribers. But we want to get it up, right? So we want to make sure we're putting out some great content, positive content, uplifting content. And main thing is having everything done decent and in order when it comes to our platform. So y'all make sure I go ahead and do that. Spread the love, spread the word. We've been got a lot of great responses from a lot of people. People really been enjoying the show. They enjoy the chemistry, and we want to keep that going. And so
Yeah.
we want to thank y'all for that and really support that. So eventually we're gonna have some donors as well. Donors, sponsorship, you name it. We are open to it. It is time. Because somebody keep getting on me about that. They keep asking me about that, asking me about that. And I just love doing it. But it's like, nah, you don't have to start getting paid for the stuff you're putting out is pretty good. All
Yeah, yeah,
right. And
most definitely. Hey, I do want to say shout out to Audrey. There is an autism event because I do want to tell the viewers about that.
go ahead.
She's been on our show for quite a twice at least, and she wanted me to tell the viewers that the event that we talked about last time will be held April the 11th. We will put the information up on the 5 p.m. show. So I do want to say, please go ahead, tune in to us at 5 p.m. so you can get that information as well.
Man, awesome stuff. Appreciate you as well. Before we let you go, Rachel, do you have any words of advice, any sounds of wisdom we'll leave you listen on as we're gonna let you go?
Just pray about everything. That's really all I gotta say. I have little flyers here. It says like in happy moments, praise God. In quiet moments, praise God. In struggles, pray for God to help you. And then like in the moments where you're unsure, just listen to him. But either way, you have that relationship with God. It's not a monologue, it's a dialogue. So you have to talk back to him. And don't be afraid to tell him, God, I feel like you let me down. Okay. He really wants you to be having that relationship with him, where you are just vulnerable with him. I think one of the people I talked to yesterday, he was talking about prayers like a relationship. And, even if it starts with God, I feel like you let me down. He wants to hear from you. And then you have to be having that conversation, because like a good father, a father is going to give you everything you want. But if you don't communicate like differences of what you're asking and what that is, he's going to give it to you. No matter. God's going to provide for you. But he wants that conversation because, if he's like, yeah, I want to give you this, but how would you like me to give it to you. Like, what kind of interest do you like? He wants to hear that kind of conversation. God knows you, but pray about everything.
Rachel, I think you hit a spot for me. Lord have mercy. When you said, God, you let me down. People don't say that. So I think you hit a spot for me.
You have to be vulnerable with God. You have to be vulnerable with God. Like any relationship, like I was saying, communication is key, because my husband's going to provide for me. But if he's like not doing something right, or if he's not doing something that, works for me, how am I going to say that unless I communicate it? So that's the episode that's actually going to be airing next week, about the power of prayer. And it hits different low.
Yeah.
You need to watch that.
Yeah, no, I think I'm gonna watch that. Yeah, for sure. I'm gonna be on there. I'm gonna ask questions and everything. I'll be listening for sure.
Yeah,
Okay.
just pray about everything. That's all I gotta say.
All right. All right. Thank you so much, Rachel.
Yes,
Thank
ma'am.
you. Yes.
And
All right,
also,
y'all.
so we about to get depart. We got this thing, man. Y'all enjoy y'all Wednesday, hump day. Get out. It's a beautiful day in DFW, man. So y'all get out, treat yourself, get some fresh air, wind it down yourself. Just get out and enjoy yourself and
Yes.
enjoy life. And we're gonna do the same thing. So we'll see y'all at 5 o'clock this evening on our next episode of the Just Saying podcast, brought to you by Gateway 8082 Media Company. Peace, everybody.
All right, y'all. Bye. Peace.
Bye.